Hi everyone. Today's Tuesday, October 31st, 2023. I'm Crystal Dawn Hill, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about my experience with my twin flame catalyst. I might have to break this video up depending on how much space I have, but I'm going to try to get through it really quickly so it'll be a minimum number of parts. So, when I first reconnected with my catalyst, I was just starting on my twin flame journey. And I had known him for several years, and I'd known that we had a connection, but I didn't really understand it very well. So he lived in a different state from me. And I went to visit with him for 2 weeks. And I noticed when I arrived in his state to visit that he didn't seem to be exuding the twin flame energy that I felt around me when I was home. And I couldn't understand this, and I really wanted to get to the bottom of what it was. So, even though I did notice a little bit of telepathy and a little bit of mystery about him, I didn't really feel fully immersed in the energy when he and I were in each other's presence. If anything, I could feel something kind of holding us apart from each other. You know, like when we use a magnet as a metaphor and we talk about the two sides of the magnets like repelling each other and feeling that bubble in between, that's kind of what I felt. So when I returned home, I continued to meditate on this, and I knew that in order for me to fully understand it, I had to move there. And I spent a year there, and I didn't get to see him very often, but it took me being there that whole entire year and being in that area to be able to absorb the energy that I needed in order to reach the next phase of my journey. So when I was there visiting with him, one thing that I noticed very poignantly was that we seemed to have thrown each other into our opposite gender energy. So for me, being the divine feminine energy, I had been thrown or flipped into my masculine energy, but it was my wounded masculine that was kind of coming out. And he was in his wounded feminine. So those are the two parts of our personality that was coming forth and was coming kind of head to head with each other. And I had to recognize that and be fully in my wounded masculine in order for it to heal. So after I recognized that, and then I moved back home, I knew that that's what needed my attention. But then when I met my divine masculine, and he taught me so much about feminine and masculine energy, I began to understand that both my wounded feminine and masculine energy needed to be healed. So the reason I'm here doing this video today is because I had a new understanding that I want to share. When we see anything playing out in our physical world, dynamics with other people, things that we're like faced with, like challenges and obstacles. Whenever we're seeing that playing out in the physical world or in our outer reality, it's because it's already been healed and dealt with on the internal levels. And what you're seeing in your outer reality is the manifestation of that healing or situation having been dealt with. So, what has prompted me to share this information is that when you see things going on with your twin or your divine partner, that is also something that's playing out in your outer reality and is a manifestation of something internal. The difference is, instead of it being about your individual personal reality, it's in the in the reality that the two of you share. So for me right now, I'm seeing the energies being flipped, and he's being the mirror of that. So that is about our collective reality, because it's already played out in the physical with me in my personal reality through my dynamic with my catalyst. So with my divine masculine, it's playing out in the physical, but for us collectively, because we've both now been through that dynamic where we're seeing our opposite gender energy being played out. So, of course, that will look different from his perspective, because from his perspective, it's going on in his personal reality. But when it's all cleared out and transmuted, then he will begin to see it having been healed, and therefore he will then be ready to see it as our collective experience and not only his on a personal level. So I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions or need clarity or would like to discuss this further, as always, please feel free to reach out. And yay, I did it all in one video, so I don't have to do a part 2. Thank you all very much for following along my journey. Wishing you all the very best to you along your journey as well, and have a wonderful day. And if you're going to be out with the kiddos tonight celebrating Halloween, have a safe and happy and enjoyable evening. Thank you and take care.